The engines rumbled like distant thunder as the Iron Serpents, one of the most feared biker groups in 3 states, rolled into the old gas station on the edge of the highway, the kind of place where dust hangs in the air like a permanent fog and strangers are judged before they even step off their ride. They were loud, tattooed, leather-clad, and built like they had been carved out of the metal of their own motorcycles, and everyone around instinctively knew to step aside. Everyone except a single teenage girl standing near Pump 7, her tiny backpack resting by her feet as she tried to shake the last drops of fuel from a battered nozzle that looked older than she was. Her jacket, oversized, faded, and stitched in a dozen places, hung awkwardly on her small frame, almost swallowing her whole. It was the jacket that drew the biker's attention, specifically the mismatched patches on the sleeves that looked like she had sewn them on by hand. "Look at that," a biker named Rocco chuckled, nudging the man next to him. "Little girl thinks she's a badass." Another laughed louder. "Hey, sweetheart, your grandma sew that jacket for you?" Their laughter spread through the group like wildfire, echoing through the empty lot. The girl didn't turn around. She simply set the nozzle back into the pump with a soft click, her hand steady even, though the men behind her were twice her size and radiating the kind of arrogance that only large engines and small minds produce. One of them whistled at her. Another called out, "You lost, kid? This ain't no place for princesses." This time she did turn, but slowly, calmly, like she had all the time in the world, and when she faced them, there was no fear in her eyes, only a quiet exhaustion that didn't belong to someone her age. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The wind shifted, and for the first time the bikers got a clear look at the patch stitched onto the back of her jacket, one large, unmistakable emblem that made several of them freeze mid-laugh, their smirks dying instantly. The Iron Serpents weren't scared of much, but every biker in that part of the country knew the golden black insignia of the Widow Wolves, a legendary female biker group, known not just for their unmatched riding skills but for their reputation. They didn't take insults lightly, and every one of their members had survived things hardened men would lose sleep over. Rocco's jaw slowly dropped as he stepped forward and whispered, "No way. That's an original Widow Wolves patch. Not a replica, not merch. A real one, earned, not bought." The girl saw the recognition in their eyes but didn't acknowledge it. She simply lifted her backpack, tightening one of the straps. The bikers stared at her differently now. No laughter, no taunts. Just a growing awareness that the girl they mocked belonged to, or was connected to, a group even the Iron Serpents respected. Slowly, the leader of the Serpents, a heavy-shouldered man with a gray beard and battle-scarred knuckles, stepped forward. "Kid, where'd you get that patch?" She met his eyes, her voice calm but carrying the kind of weight that didn't fit her age. "My mother earned it." The bikers stiffened. Some lowered their heads. The Widow Wolves had only ever confirmed 6 full members. Every one of them was a legend. The leader swallowed hard. "Who was your mother?" he asked quietly. The girl hesitated, her expression tightening for just a second before answering. "Raven." A hush fell over the entire lot. Raven wasn't just a member. She was one of the founding riders. Stories of her rode through biker circles like myths. The woman who once outran 3 police cruisers on a torn-up highway, who rescued stranded riders without hesitation, who defended a runaway kid when no one else would. But Raven had died 3 years ago in a crash that had shaken the entire community. Her funeral had brought bikers from 6 states. The Iron Serpent's leader removed his gloves, placing them against his chest in respect. "Your mother was a warrior," he said solemnly. "We didn't know she had a daughter." The girl simply nodded. She didn't tell many people. The bikers stood silent, the earlier arrogance gone. Rocco scratched his head, guilt replacing the grin he had worn minutes ago. "We shouldn't have mocked the jacket." She shrugged, lifting the kickstand of her old motorbike, rusty, patched together but clearly cared for. "Doesn't matter," she said. But the leader stepped forward again. "It matters to us." He reached into his vest and pulled out a metal token engraved with the Iron Serpent's emblem, the kind that was only given for honor, not fear. "If you ever need anything on any road anywhere, you show this." She hesitated before taking it. The weight of it seemed to settle into her palm like a silent apology. Then she swung her leg over her bike, the engine coughing twice before coming to life. As she prepared to leave, the leader raised his voice so every young rider nearby would hear him. Respect isn't earned by size, age, or volume. It's earned by legacy. The entire gang nodded in unison. The girl offered a small nod in return. No smile, just acknowledgement. She revved the engine once, then rode off into the warm, highway wind, leaving behind a group of men who would never forget the moment a teenage girl, wearing her mother's jacket, silenced an entire biker gang without raising her voice. And as the dust settled, Rocco muttered, "That kid is going to be something fierce," and in that moment, every biker there silently agreed. If you want more stories like this, emotional, dramatic, powerful, make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss what happens next. The girl rode for nearly an hour before the gas station disappeared behind her, swallowed by the vast stretch of highway winding through cliffs and abandoned farmland. But even as the landscape changed, the weight of what happened lingered in her chest like a stone she didn't know how to put down. She wasn't used to people recognizing the patch. Most bikers these days were younger, more about noise than legacy. But seeing hardened, men freeze at the sight of her mother's emblem stirred emotions she had tried hard to bury since the day Raven's casket was lowered into the ground. Her old motorbike rattled beneath her, faithful but tired, just like her. She tightened her grip on the handlebars as the wind slapped her face, clearing her thoughts, reminding her why she was on the road in the first place. She was searching for someone, a woman named Diesel, her mother's closest friend, the last surviving founding member of the Widow Wolves. Diesel had gone off-grid years ago after Raven's death, disappearing into rumors and half-truths whispered at biker bars and truck stops. Some said she was hiding, some said she was hunting. All the girl knew was that she needed answers. Answers only Diesel could give. Just as she turned onto a long bridge crossing a dry riverbed, her engine sputtered, a cough, then two sharp knocks, and the bike jerked violently. "Not now," she muttered, steering to the shoulder as smoke crept out from under the seat. She dismounted quickly, pulling a rag from her backpack and crouching beside the engine. The metal was scorching hot, the bolts loose, and she could already feel panic rising. She had no tools, no parts, and no nearby towns for at least 30 miles. She looked up at the empty stretch of road, wondering if she'd have to spend the night there, when suddenly the distant rumble of engines echoed across the bridge. Her body tensed. Another biker gang? More trouble? But as the bikes drew closer, the sound was different, lighter, smoother. She rose slowly as 3 sleek motorcycles approached, all black with silver detailing, moving in perfect formation like shadows cutting through sunlight. They circled once before stopping around her, and the riders dismounted. 2 women and 1 older man, all wearing the unmistakable emblem she knew better than her own reflection. The Widow Wolves. Her breath caught. The lead rider, a woman with braided gray hair and sharp amber eyes, stepped forward. "You Raven's kid?" The girl swallowed, nodding. "I'm looking for Diesel." The older woman stared at her for a long moment before sighing softly. "You found her." The girl froze. Diesel looked nothing like the wild stories, calm, controlled. Her presence powerful not through intimidation, but through absolute certainty. Diesel knelt beside the smoking bike, touching the broken bolt with the same tenderness one might show a wound. "Raven told me if anything ever happened to her, you'd come find me one day." Hearing her mother's name spoken aloud by someone who knew her made the girl's chest tighten painfully. "Why did she never tell me about the wolves? Why did she hide all of this from me?" she asked, voice cracking despite her effort to stay strong. Diesel stood, her expression softening. "She wanted you to grow up free from the road. It's darkness. We lost too many sisters to it." She paused. "But she also knew you'd inherit her strength and her fire." The younger rider behind Diesel stepped forward, handing the girl a clean water bottle. The girl accepted it silently, overwhelmed as Diesel's eyes fell on the patch sewn on her jacket. "You repaired it," Diesel murmured. The girl nodded. "Many times." Diesel smiled with a sadness only those who have buried friends can understand. "Good, because that patch, it's more than cloth. It's your mother's legacy, and now yours." Before the girl could respond, the older man, Burke, another wolf, called out, "Road patrol incoming." 2 cars. Diesel exhaled sharply. We can't stay here. The serpents must have talked. Word spreads fast. She faced the girl. Your mother didn't just want you to find me. She wanted you to know the truth behind her death. The girl's heart stopped. The truth? Diesel nodded. Raven didn't die in an accident. She was taken out. The wind stilled. The world narrowed. The girl felt her blood run cold. By who? Diesel's jaw tightened. A rogue gang calling themselves the Black Reapers. They've been hunting wolves for years. The girl's fingers curled into fists. All the nights she cried for her mother. All the lies she had been told. Suddenly they burned inside her like fire. Diesel placed a firm hand on her shoulder. If you ride with us, the truth won't stay buried long. The girl looked at the three powerful riders, the emblem on their jackets glowing beneath the afternoon sun, and she felt something awaken within her: anger, purpose, destiny. Her voice was quiet but steady. I'm ready. Diesel nodded once, then signaled to the others. Mount up. Burke brought forward his spare bike, a sleek machine built for speed and endurance. The girl climbed onto it, the engine humming beneath her like a promise. Diesel revved her bike, the sound rolling like thunder. Welcome to the wolves, she said. Your mother would be proud. And together, they rode off into the blazing horizon toward truth, vengeance, and the beginning of a legacy that was only just awakening.